Well, hello, my lovely empathic people and all the people that has been through it. And now you want to get to the point in your life where you actually healing. So, welcome to Inner Love Trauma. Yes, I'm going to be doing a couple of videos on in regards to a lot of different things here. And these are just basically to help you move forward from being a victim to being a person that is thriving, surviving, and we are going to keep on healing. So, today I just want to go over a couple of things. I'm going to give you five ways to actually get past and to learn how to stop people pleasing. Now, why should we stop people pleasing? First of all, what is people pleasing? People pleasing is basically forgetting yourself and putting everybody else first, just for the sake of maybe um, so the person won't get mad at you, or just so you can seem like you're the nice guy or the nice girl. And this is how we wind up getting into relationships with people that abuses that nice girl, nice guy um, thing in us, right? We do it so much that it gets to a point where people are just running over you. People are thinking that you're supposed to be there when you need to be there, and you just running yourself raggedy to try to please all the people, which is people pleasing. Now, one of the people, the type of person that you usually attract are going to be narcissistic people because they love to have somebody there to do everything that they say do because they want you to do it because it's going to make them feel good. But at the same time, you're just depleting yourself as you go through it. And every time you go against your boundaries, because they love people that don't have boundaries, because that's what people pleasing is that you haven't set up any type of boundaries. But I'm going to show you how to do that today. So a lot of people don't have boundaries. They allow people to just walk over them, and they think that they're just being a nice person. But then what happens is that you deplete yourself, where you'll wind up in the corner somewhere crying because you don't, number one, have anything else to give. Number two, you may have neglected so many things about yourself that you don't even sometimes look like the person that you started off in the relationship with. Now, this people pleasing stuff comes from a lot of people's background where they may have been in some type of, they may have been in church. A lot of times the church, some they teach you this turn the other cheek type of attitude, be meek and humble, and all these other things, right? But they never really teach you how to stand up for yourself, be assertive, and be someone to be accounted for. We also have parents, some of our parents that may have been narcissistic people, or they just wanted you to be on their at their beck and call. They may have taught you to be a person that likes to keep the peace. If you were in a household where it was always some type of upheaval, it was always some hollering, some screaming, and all that type of thing, you may be a type of person that just don't want to hear any hollering, screaming, or you don't want to get anybody upset. So you just tend to do whatever it is to make sure that everybody is okay. You also may have been a person that may have grew up in a family where all the responsibility was actually put on you, you know, to be uh, the perfect person, or to be the person that they can always go to get, whatever it is that they need. Some of us that have been raised in a narcissistic household, you were part of your parents' supply. So they always had you doing something. Forget about how you feel about it, never asking you, but they always had you kind of hopping around doing things for them. Go to the store for me, go do this for me, go do this, that, and the other. And there's probably something that, it wind up being something that you wind up doing for the rest of your life, even for that parent. Even as you got older, you had to hop to it every time they say you drop everything. They don't care if you are trying to have a life over there. Maybe you have a husband or wife, or you have things that you need to take care of, but then they call you out of, probably sometimes out of your sleep, just to tell you to come over to their house to turn the television or something, I don't know, or to take them to a doctor's appointment or something like that, or anything, something that they could actually do for themselves. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that some of these things are learned from your behavior, from the things that they have taught you when you were actually growing up. Okay, so today we're going to break it down, and we're going to get you where you can at least have some tools to be able to break this pattern that has been put in you from probably day one. Okay, I know in our household from day one, you hopping and you doing everything that Mama told you to do. That's why I said that turn the television. See, now you don't need anybody to go turn your television for you, because you got your remote controls and all that good stuff. But even then, even when we had remote controls, my parents was still like, hand me that remote control. Now turn it on this channel and that channel. And it was always something that you had to do. Now, I'm not saying that that's what caused you to be a people pleaser, but when it's taken a little bit further than that, when it comes to the point where you're doing, and I'm not saying don't do nice things for people, I'm saying to prioritize these things. And I'm going to give you those 5 things that's going to actually help you get to do these things. You can still do things for people, but it's going to be one main thing that's going to stand out, and it's going to glare to you on each one of these things that you need to do, right? So I was just trying to give you a little bit of background of why you probably like you are, because you don't want to rock the boat. And if you've been in a household where everything it was always some type of rocking the boat, and you didn't want to be the person that was starting this stuff. You always wanted, and maybe you were the person that was always the mediator, that you was just okay, well, trying to make people all be friends and this and that, right? Okay. Maybe you were the friend that people just called and just dumped on you. They didn't ask you how you doing today or anything like that. Hey, how you doing? If they did say that, it was, hey, how you doing? And blah, 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 blah. And they just dump all of their emotions and stuff, and what happened to me and what they did and da 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 da, and then you take on all of that, and you'd be like, okay, yeah, but you should do this and you should do that, man, I'm so sorry that happened to you, blah, blah, blah. And then they get off the phone feeling great fun and going on with their life, and you're still sitting over there like, oh my God, that was so sad what happened to them. And it reminds me, and then you start going down trigger lane, right, about what happened to you. And sometimes, because of us being an empath, we take on all of that energy of that person just feeling sad and bad, even though we were feeling fine before they actually called us and told us all those horrible things, right? Because when I was unaware of who I was, I used to do the same thing. Now I can talk to a friend and I'll know how to, compartment, yeah, put that in a certain area of my life and say, oh, okay, I understand that this person is going through this, but it's not me. Okay. And that's one of the things that you're going to have to learn to do, is you're going to learn how to separate you from them. And sometimes we don't know the difference. Sometimes we think we're separating, but we're not. We're actually taking on all of the energy of this other person that's coming in. And it's okay to listen to friends, but it's not okay if you don't understand who you are. It's not okay to listen to all of the negativity and the things that's going on in this person's life if you don't understand who you are. Until you are aware, until you are strong enough to know that you're able to take care of yourself, and you're able to actually have a you until you're able to be strong enough to know that you are your first love. Okay, you're the person that you need to take care of you first, and when you learn how to do that, then you can help other people. So first, let's get you together, and then you can be the psychiatrist, the sidewalk psychiatrist that you are. And I know there's probably a bunch of uh, water sign people that are like this, but it's more than just water sign people. We have fire signs, we have all signs, all astrological signs. It doesn't matter what sign you are. What it matters is how you almost how you've been raised, and what your everybody has different traumas that they've been through. And but what all puts us in sort of the same bucket is when we don't understand who we are. And because of all of the abuse or trauma that you may have been through, it kind of made you disconnect from who you are as a person. Okay. And that's why you want to, you think by doing everything for everyone to make everybody else happy is going to make everything go smooth in your life, when it doesn't. It really actually hurts you because you've put yourself to the point where you are depleted. And that's what I want to help you with today. So let's get down to number 1. The first thing that you want to do is, and I wrote these down so that I wouldn't forget them. The first one that we want to go through, oh, there we go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn on my other screen so I can actually see it. And that way I can go right ahead and tell you. So the first one is practice assertiveness. Okay. So practicing assertiveness. So what you want to do is start by practicing assertiveness by expressing your thoughts and feelings in a clear and confident manner. Speak up for yourself. Okay, speak up for yourself. That's what you fail to do a lot of times, is to speak up for yourself, is to tell a person that, hey, I'm actually working on something right now, and I don't think that I know that this is not the right time for me to actually do this. Speak up for yourself. Okay, I've seen people allow people to just run all over them, and was just afraid to say no. It's a simple, it's a two-letter word that a lot of people are afraid to do, is that's to say no. When you don't want something to happen, or you don't want something, you need to say no. But not only that, you need to let people know if something, if they've said something or did something or put you in a situation where you're not comfortable, you need to speak up. Okay. Now, you may feel like people may think that you're a wet blanket, or maybe you not the life of the party no more, or maybe you may feel like people may think you're being mean. But my suggestion to you is learning how to say no. You can say no in a lot of different ways without seeming like, you're a mean person. But then sometimes you can't worry about the other person's feelings all the time when it's to protect yourself. You see? So when you have a situation, okay, that is, let's say you have a friend that likes to stop at your house at, whenever they feel like it. They don't call, they just come rolling over to your house without even calling, right? And so the first couple of times the first time that they do it, you don't say anything. You don't say anything, even though you had to jump out of the shower, put on your clothes really quick, and get to the door. while your friend just roams around, goes in your kitchen and looks in your refrigerator, so this is somebody that you have never really said no to, right? So how do you get that person to stop doing all these things when you've already set up a pattern for them to actually do it, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to just let them know how you feel about them actually stopping over, and without saying, hey, I'm on my way, or hey, I'm in the neighborhood, or whatever. You need to set that boundary. You need to say, hey, you know what? This is my time. I'm in the shower, or, however you want to say it. Just let them know that, hey, you know what? Don't stop over my house. See, it wouldn't be very hard for me to say that, because people would already know that that is not something that you're going to do with me. Okay, you ain't gonna come running in and out of my house all willy-nilly, and there is nobody that I even know of, that is even my own daughter, that knows not to do anything like that, right? But at some point I had to say to my daughter, hey, no, 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 you got a key and everything, but you don't get to roll in and out, right? This was back in the day though, but if you don't get to roll in and out of my house, you need to let me know that you're coming over. And this is just my way of setting the tone and being assertive and letting them know that, hey, no, this is not how we're going to do things. So this is what you need to do. And I want you to write that down. Practice being assertive, not aggressive. Now, aggressive is saying, cursing them out and saying, "Don't you bring your blah 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 blah, blah back over here when I'm blah 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 blah." That's being assertive. That's being aggressive. Being assertive is saying, "Hey, I'm so glad to actually see you, but you know what? I was in the shower, and going forward, I want you to be able to, so we can have a nice time. I want you to let me know that you're coming over, and see if this is a good time, because I have, not just because you don't need to over explain everything, because that's another thing that we love to do, is we always think we need to over explain. You don't need to over explain. Just don't bring your butt over here at this particular time, because I just said so, right? you know, just because I said so. But because you're kind of new to being assertive, I'm gonna give you that. You can go ahead and explain to them why you want to actually have them do that. Now, for number two, let's go to setting boundaries. Okay, so that was kind of in there with setting boundaries. Setting boundaries, clear. Uh, Clear boundaries is essential to stopping the people pleasing. Okay, determine what is acceptable and what isn't. Okay, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you is again okay to say no. Okay, it's okay to say no. Now I'm going to put this information down in the description, but I also want you to remember what I'm saying here. So, setting boundaries is extremely important, because boundaries is going to give you the time. It gives everybody a heads up, okay? And it says not only that setting boundaries let them know what's going on, but it also gives you the time that you need for yourself to do the things that you need for yourself. Okay. And again, you don't need to over explain this. Just simply saying, no, hey, don't call me on Sundays, because on Sundays I am doing my meditations and this and that. And I just want this time to myself. Even if you're not doing meditations, even if you're just looking at your four walls and you just want to stare into space, that's your time. You get to do that. And you have a right to say no. So, number two is setting boundaries. This will get rid of almost all of your narcissistic friends and narcissistic people and toxic people, period. Okay, because then they'll say, I can call you as violent man. You think you all that, right? Because you want to set some boundaries. So when you set those boundaries, you need to set them, and you don't need to break them. See, a lot of times we set boundaries and then we be the one that break them, right? I said don't call me on Sundays, but then I'm gonna call you on Sundays, and then you're gonna say, well, you said don't call you on Sundays, but then you know what I'm saying? So don't you break your own boundaries. Now, if there's an emergency, of course, and it happens to happen on a Sunday, then of course you're gonna have to break those boundaries. But other than that, it's no breaking your boundaries, okay? Unless you want to. Those are your boundaries. You can do them if you want to, but for the most part, you want to get them into the whole thing of, hey, this is what I do, okay? So you want to be clear with your boundary setting, and you want to, and you can be flexible with your boundaries. I'm just saying that you need to set them, and you need to be clear about them, okay? But what I don't want you to do is to be like, okay, I don't want anybody to call me on Sunday, and then somebody call you on Sunday just to chit chat, and then you just sitting there going, how about not even answering the phone? That's a good way of saying no too, okay? They can leave a message. um the next one is number 3, is you're going to learn to prioritize yourself, okay? One of the main reasons people tend to people please others is that they prioritize other people needs above their own, okay? Learn to put yourself first, and make sure you're taking care of your own needs and wants, because when you take care of you, then you're just such a wonderful person that you can actually take care of other people. But you have to be a little selfish and take care of yourself. I know all the church in you is just like, oh Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna just think about myself. That lady is so selfish. No, you have to be selfish sometime, because if you don't take care of you, who's going to take care of you? And then you're going to be the person that's going to be someone's bound, you're just going to be a burden to somebody else. So take care of you, and remember, you took care of all those people. That doesn't mean that they're going to take care of you, because they're not because you to take care of. You've been doing this job, and they're not going to do your job. So take care of you first. And when you take care of you first, then you're going to be strong enough, able enough to take care of others if you want to. Okay. The next one, number 4, is to actually practice self compassion. Many people pleasers tend to be hard on themselves, right? We tend to say, man, I've heard people talk so bad about themselves. It's just ridiculous. Okay. They beat themselves up for not being able to please everyone. Practice self-compassion, and remember that you're only human, that you're human, and that you make mistakes, and you will disappoint others. So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be like, oh man, I told them I was going to be there at 2 o'clock. Oh God, I got to be there at 2 o'clock. Yes, you told them you was going to be there at 2 o'clock, but you wind up going a little bit over in a meeting that you were in. And you needed to just let them know that, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a little late, or maybe you don't feel like doing it. You can tell them, hey, you know what, I can't do that today. After all that stuff that I've been through today, I can't make it today. You need to be the person to set those boundaries, and you need to prioritize yourself. Sometimes, and you need to not feel bad about it or guilty about it once you do that. Don't feel bad about setting your own boundaries. Now, if the people that make you feel bad about setting your boundaries are the people that you want to set even stricter boundaries with. Why? Because they don't care about how you feel. They don't care that you are tired. They don't care that you are worn out. They don't care if that you are depleted at some point. They just want their needs to be met, and they don't care how you do it. Even though your cup is empty, and this is how a lot of narcissistic people do, they don't care about how empty your cup is. They don't care if they can physically see the fatigue on your face, and they will still ask you to do something. I can remember, and I know that I really don't want to put my parents in a bad light, but they already are, but because they were horrible parents. But The thing is they would literally see you laying down, and they'd be like, "Hey, get up and do such and such for me." Like, you can't do it yourself. I mean, that's what used to come through my head all the time. But it still set the precedence of us being, me being probably a people pleaser as I got older, because I didn't want, people to be mad or whatever. Now I don't care if people are mad. I don't care if people don't like me. I don't care, because I like me, and I know what's best for me. And anytime, and this will actually teach people that any time that you do give them, they should be appreciative of it, because you don't have to do it. Now that may seem mean, and yes, you may not have a whole bunch of people around you, you know, faking like they really love you. You'll have genuine people around you. You'll have people that actually love you and care about you, because if I love you and I care about you, I'm going to be seeing like, oh my goodness, you're not feeling well, let me do whatever it is that I feel like I need to do. Let you rest. Let me, can I do something for you? Can I get you a glass of water? Can I help you out with something? Because you're always there for me, and I want to be able to give back. That's why it's so important for us to be in relationships where it's a give and take. Whereas if I call you, you call me. If I text you, you text me. If you text me, I'll text you. I shouldn't always, if you always feel like you're the person that's reaching out, reaching out, reaching out, that means you got a one-sided situation. That means boundaries have not been set. That means there is a chance that you're going to wind up on the give side, and you're not getting anything back. Now, I know people think, well, it's only texting, it's only calling. No, these are little things that are big things in this day and time, that shows that you either care or you don't care. And either we have a reciprocal relationship, or we don't. Either I can't be in anything that I'm going to be giving way too much and you giving way too little, right? And I don't mean to sound like it's going to be tit for tat, but if you're always the person that's reaching out, that means you're not being compassionate with yourself, you're not setting good boundaries, and you're not really getting anything back where you feel fulfilled as well. So you see what I mean? So you always want to be in a very giving back to, that you both are giving to that relationship regardless. Okay, this is how you don't get depleted. Now, four. Okay, four, we already said, practice self compassion. The last one is, if you feel that it's a time in your life where you are starting to understand where this trauma is coming from, and you need some support, I say seek support. If you're feeling, a persistent problem, for that this is like a problem, an ongoing problem, like what I'm saying right now is kind of making you nervous. Like, how am I going to tell people no? How am I going to, are they going to really hate me if I tell them don't come over on Friday when I really am tired? Um, my boyfriend's going to leave me, or my girlfriend's going to leave me if I don't show up every day on Sunday at 6 o'clock, even though I go to school and da 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 da. You know what I mean? Even though they live way across the world, and I just would like to have a moment to myself. So you probably need to be in some type of support group. I'm going to suggest that some people do well in therapy because they can do talk therapy. I have a group which is on meetups, and where we actually talk to each other and we hear each other out. Sometimes this is a wonderful outlet, so you can at least hear that you're not alone. Um, and you can see and understand some more strategies of how to actually start to be a little bit more assertive and start to actually put yourself first. So if you don't hear anything that I said today, the main thing is to put yourself first, okay? It may sound like it's one because it may sound foreign to your ears, especially if you are a person that maybe grew up in a very religious or Christian household, or a household where you had a lot of chaos, and you may have a lot of friends around you that you feel depend on you, and that's the only way that you really feel wanted, right? Is that everybody is always, telling you that you need to do this, that, and the other, right? So if this is feeling like that and you're feeling a little bit of a strain, I suggest that you do go to one of my groups. They are absolutely free, nothing that I'm charging anybody for, and start trying to put some of these things into place, right? Start trying to practice assertiveness, set some boundaries, learn to prioritize, practice some self compassion, do some of those things, and also seek support. So that's what I have for you guys in this on this lovely day. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all of your support that you guys have. Please go ahead and share this video to somebody that you know is people pleasing. Maybe they don't know that they're a people pleaser. Maybe they think that, they're just a nice guy or the nice girl. Well, this is a way that you can still be a nice girl, nice guy, but you need to be nicer to yourself, okay? So that's what I have for you guys. If you have any questions or any concerns, go ahead and reach out to me. I have everything in the description box, as we always say. And so thank you so much, and let's keep healing. Have a wonderful day.